What if I told you that you could get 40 years of hard-won stock market experience all boiled down into one simple rulebook? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're diving into the powerful wisdom of veteran investor Basant Baheti. Now, right out of the gate, Baheti's very first rule completely flips the script on what most people think investing is all about. He says success isn't really about having some secret formula or more information than the next guy. Nope, it's about mastering the one thing you actually have control over, your own mind. And this chart just lays it out so clearly, doesn't it? The game isn't about drowning yourself in spreadsheets and financial reports. According to Baheti, the real work, and where you can get a huge edge, is in managing your own behavior. This one idea is the bedrock for his entire philosophy. All right, so here's our roadmap. First, we're going to unpack that 80% secret. Then we'll cover the crucial first steps to build your financial foundation. After that, we'll get into his brilliant free-of-cost strategy, learn about the 3 big mistakes you have to avoid, and finally, we'll talk about the single most important virtue an investor can have. Okay, let's jump into part 1, the 80% secret. This is all about a huge shift in how you look at investing. It's about realizing the real battle isn't being fought on the stock market, it's being fought inside your own head. So what does that actually mean? Well, it really just boils down to 2 things. Can you keep a cool head when the market is crashing and everyone is panicking? And can you resist getting greedy when stocks are soaring and it feels like you can't lose? Baheti says if you can control those 2 emotions, fear and greed, you're already way ahead of someone with a fancy finance degree. All right, so you've got the right mindset. But before you even dream of buying your first stock, Baheti is adamant that you have to build yourself a financial fortress first. So let's look at how to build up those defenses. Listen, these are not suggestions, they are non-negotiables. You have to protect your health and your family first. Why? Because one bad medical emergency could force you to sell your investments at the worst possible time. Once these 2 safety nets are in place, and only then, are you really ready to start building wealth. So your fortress is built, you're protected. The next logical question is, okay, how much of my money should actually go into stocks? For this, Baheti uses a classic, super simple rule of thumb. It's just a straightforward way to adjust your risk as you get older, letting you lean into growth when you're young and have time on your side. Now we get to my favorite part, Baheti's signature strategy. Seriously, this is such a game changer for your psychology. It's designed specifically to help you stay invested for the long haul without all the stress. And the whole idea is so beautifully simple. You're not chasing what's hot right now. Instead, you're looking for fantastic, high-quality companies that are just going through a temporary rough patch, because that's where the real opportunities are found. And here's exactly how you do it, step by step. It's a system. You find that great company, you invest steadily over a few months to get a good average price. Then you wait for the stock to double. And then, this is the magic part, you take all of your original money back out. Let's run through a quick example to see how this plays out. Imagine you've done your homework and you invest 50,000 rupees into a company that's currently on the ropes. Now comes the patient part. This might take a few months, it might take a couple of years, but eventually the company's fortunes turn around and boom, your investment is now worth 1 lakh rupees. This is the key move. This is the whole trick. You sell half of your shares. That 50,000 rupees that you put in, it's now back in your bank account. It's safe. From this point on, you literally can't lose a single rupee of your original investment. And here's where we circle right back to that 80% psychology rule. The shares you have left over feel completely different. They're basically house money. They feel free. This mental trick makes it so much easier to ignore the market's crazy swings and hold on for that incredible long-term growth. Okay, knowing what to do is great, but knowing what not to do can be even more important. Baheti is super clear about the common traps that absolutely demolish an investor's wealth. So let's talk about one of the biggest temptations out there. You see a new IPO, the media is buzzing, and that fear of missing out, or FOMO, is real. So should you jump in? What do you think Baheti says? His advice is a hard no. Wait at least 3 years after a company goes public. And if you need a perfect example of why, just look at Paytm. The hype was huge, it launched at over 2,000 rupees a share, and then crashed to around 500. The initial excitement often leads to crazy prices that just aren't sustainable. And here are 3 more rules to carve in stone. First, Don't ever invest based on a random tip you saw on TV or social media. It's just noise. Second, never borrow money to invest. Leverage is a double-edged sword that can wipe you out. And finally, stay away from futures and options. He sees that as pure gambling, not investing.
So, we've covered the mindset, the prep work, the strategy, and what to avoid. Now we get to the final piece of the puzzle, the one quality that ties everything together and makes it all work. Just let that sink in for a second. The potential for those life-changing returns, it's often right there in our own accounts. The problem isn't usually finding a great company, it's finding the patience and the guts to actually hold on to it. And these real stories from his career are just amazing proof. I mean, can you imagine holding Upper Industries for 2 full years while it did nothing and the rest of the market was on fire? That's what patience looks like. And that BSE stock he made free of cost, he held on because the psychological pressure was gone, and it went on to grow 70 times over. Incredible.
You know, this really brings it all home to that classic saying, which is a classic for a reason. Trying to jump in and out of the market is a recipe for disaster. The real, life-changing wealth is built by letting time and the power of compounding do their magic. So, there you have it, the rulebook. It's simple, right? But simple is not the same as easy. We've just covered the 20%, the knowledge part, but that other 80%, the discipline, the emotional control, the patience to actually stick with it for years, well, that part is up to you.